Yesterday was the release of the brand new episode of Hell of a Boss, which finally gave us a full episode of the Demon Prince Mammon. So today we're going to do a big breakdown of him and how he rules his ring. My name is ImpCut, hit that subscribe button, and real quick, consider checking out my new animated series, Garnet. It's about a magical girl getting ready to retire and her magic cat, played by Sarcastic Chorus.
Rescue some cats stuck in some trees or something!
The cat's in a tree, it's because we want to be there. Leave us the fuck alone.
Check out the episode using the link in the description or pinned comment down below, or stay tuned until the end of the video for more previews. It is well known within the fandom that Hell is ruled by 7 demons, one representing each of the 7 deadly sins, inspired by the writings of the real-life Peter Binsfield, claiming them to be 7 princes of Hell. With Mammon finally appearing on screen in great HD, we can add him to our little chart of the 7 rings of Hell, where you'll see that we still have yet to meet Satan, Leviathan, or Belphegor, with VivziePop saying in a tweet that she is most excited for Satan and Leviathan, and that she was finalizing their designs for a later episode. While I expect to meet all 7 princes in the show's run, which I hear to be aiming for 4 seasons, Mammon is perhaps the most important prince in the plot so far, even more so than Asmodeus, who is slowly becoming the hero of the story. Thus far, the princes we've met have been surprisingly not that evil. Asmodeus was mean, but we saw he had a softer side and now acts like one of the most noble people in Hell, creating a paradise in Hell for those who don't mind a lust-based economy. Beelzebub doesn't seem to treat her common folk nearly as well, but still maintains a positive relationship with them and hosts amazing parties for them to enjoy, even if their enjoyment is something she ultimately benefits from. At the end of the day, the princes are some of the most human characters there are in the positive sense, having layers to the evil they are trapped in and dealing with, but ultimately being good or at least nice people. Mammon is the exception to this, and it seems to me that he has long been planned to be the ultimate villain of the series. Now, generally, pride is considered the deadliest of the 7 deadly sins, hence why Lucifer is the Prince of Pride, but also the King of all of Hell. However, his story is saved for Hazbin Hotel, and Hell of a Boss was going to need its own villain, and with Asmodeus being one of the 7 princes, the villain had to be someone of equal power to him. Out of the 7 deadly sins, Mammon makes the most sense to be the ultimate villain of this story, and something of a villain among the princes themselves. They all have issues and elements of evil, but most of them seem to be very interested in running their people's lives to build something of a good society. Mammon, on the other hand, seems hell-bent on destroying his own ring so that he can have claim to more money than the other princes. While pride is often considered the deadliest because of the sheer ego someone can develop, greed can be seen as the more disgusting sin, one that doesn't even care to be perceived as good or noble the way that pride might. Pride has room for trying to preserve its resources, but in the greed ring, everything is being mined, polluted, and exploited to no end, making greed something of a wasteland when it perhaps could have once been something of a paradise. Greed is just one step below gluttony in the rings of Hell, and gluttony looks like a place that is very beautiful. While we mostly see the area that Beelzebub uses for her parties, which are going to be nicer than everywhere else, the plant life gives the impression that the gluttony ring is not nearly as exploited for resources the way greed is, even if its people aren't living great lives there. Greed, with its ocean, could have been the beach vacation destination of Hell, but it has made itself the capital of manufacturing in order to pull profits from all of the other rings that way, and in turn pollute the air and water with the toxic leftovers of their production. He strips the land for its resources, but even more scary, Mammon strips the people of their resources too. While all of the princes are going to live better lives than the common folk, there is a notable class division in the greed ring that seems unrivaled anywhere else in Hell. Mammon has made it so that his people only have access to horrible jobs that don't cover living expenses, causing them to go into debt on illegal loans so that Mammon can slowly gouge the people for the little scraps they have. Mammon isn't a prince who wants to thrive, he just wants to be rich, even if that means he and his people aren't thriving at all, and he applies that mindset to everything in his life, most notably to Fizzaroli in the most recent episode. Mammon started his annual contest because he himself doesn't actually know what makes money. I've theorized that as far as clowns go, Mammon may have been able to push that as a trend in Hell to weirdly obsessive degrees because he is royal and people are going to want to like the things that royals like. But beyond that, he doesn't know what makes a clown good or bad or even profitable. It's the reason that Mammon created Lululand, which is clearly a ripoff of Lucifer's more popular Lulu World in the Pride Ring. Each prince is known for their own app, which symbolizes their lifestyle in some way, with Lucifer having Lucymaster, a hell version of Ticketmaster. Through Lucymaster, the people of the Pride Ring can purchase tickets for great events, not just Lucifer's theme park, but also Lilith's concerts and other such things. Lucifer, as the Prince of Pride, takes pride in what he does, and Lulu World is presented as a passion project of his. Lululand is just a shallow ripoff that Mammon made because he already knew that the formula made money from Lucifer's passion. Mammon thus created a pageant in the same vein as American Idol and other musical performance shows in real life, where random contestants get a shot at fame for putting on great musical performances. This creates a system where Mammon is always able to have the most profitable performers, someone selected not really by him, but by the people, essentially letting them choose what kind of merchandise they want to be propagandized with. And like with how Mammon strips the greed ring for everything he can, he does the same to Fizzarolli's image. He creates cool stuffed plushes like the ones they have in real life at the Shark Robot Vivzipop store, and explains that he'll make him a toy, a Saturday morning cartoon, and even a sex doll if that's what will make him profit, something that even Mammon himself pauses at for a moment when he thinks of how weird it is. Ultimately, however, Mammon decides that there's nothing weird about this if he can make money, and at this point it is something Mammon understands well. He doesn't know what will be popular with the people and thus make him money, but when something is popular, he knows that he can slap the image on everything from innocent children's entertainment to inappropriate adult entertainment, and that someone will always be there to purchase it. What Mammon focuses on isn't trying to create a sustainable business with a consistent brand, but on trying to flood the market every single time that there is something popular, so that every possible person who might be convinced to pay for something will hand their money over. While the love bots seem to be something that are very Fizz specific, I have no doubt that Mammon's polluting factories are set up to make all sorts of merchandise in massive scale for all sorts of celebrities and anything else that is popular at the time with cheap products. Mammon also has no problem putting Fizzarolli in dangerous situations to make money as well. At one point in the episode, we see a series of moments on the wall where Mammon put Fizz's life in danger for entertainment, and Mammon probably isn't that good at throwing knives despite his reputation as a clown performer. Even offstage, Mammon puts Fizz in danger, pushing him to interact with fans in a way that makes Fizz uncomfortable because of his interactions with people like Creepso. While we mostly saw Fizz have wholesome interactions, Creepso is likely just one of an endless line of haters and critics who think they can do better than Fizz or would like to use him in some way. Mammon doesn't care, however, because he wants the profits it brings and has no problem lying about it, trying to make Fizz feel like it's important for various reasons, and even when Mammon tries to act like he's checking in on Fizz to make sure he's alright, he makes it very clear that the only thing that is important is Fizz being okay enough to wow the world with yet another performance. When Fizzarolli would have eventually lost the contest or quit like he did in the recent episode, Mammon was probably ready to start making love bots for the next big star as well, such as with the fishy twins, Glitz and Glam, though for that he may need Osmodius's help, as RoboFizz said he was made at Big Ozzy's factory, and Ozzy seems to have cornered the market on adult toys, specifically with Mammon's factories making just about everything else for hell it seems. Mammon looks like someone who doesn't take good care of himself and is meant to come off as something of a disgusting bug, and I imagine there's a lot you can say about Mammon without hurting his feelings, as the only thing he cares about is his money. In the end, the only thing that made Mammon angry was that he knew he was losing money when Fizz was walking away, and that is the most personal thing there is to him, something so big he swears revenge against Fizz and Osmodius for daring to defend him. Mammon, as the Prince of Greed, has proven he will destroy his own ring's well-being in order to profit, and when he doesn't get his profit, he will react like his loan sharks have been trained and violently go after those who have made him lose money, even if it may ultimately be worse for him in the long run. When Mammon gets angry at Fizz, he lets out his full beast mode, which is my favorite of them so far, being both creepy and gross. Mammon had a strange bug-like appearance already, but this full demon form confirms what some of the imagery had been hinting at in the background of this episode, which was full of spider webs, including some scenes of Mammon sitting directly on the spider webs. In Mammon's full beast mode, we see he has multiple legs, similar to how he already had multiple arms in his smaller form, but he doesn't just look like a spider here, and in fact becomes more disgustingly elongated at moments and worm-like. Spiders are known for luring in their victims, trapping them in a web, and then draining them, but the disgusting way that Mammon moves makes him look much more like a parasite, which is exactly what he is in hell. Mammon, like a parasite, exists to grow big and engorged, but only off of the actual work of others. Mammon siphons off as much as he can from others well beyond what he needs to survive, to the point where others are harmed or could even die. He is a parasite to society and a parasite even to the other princes, not just ripping them off like he does with Lucifer, but even getting legal protection against them and playing the victim about accusations of copyright infringement as we see in the contracts. He is a disgusting entity and one I can't wait to see more of, as his face-off between him and Asmodeus was quite epic, but there is definitely room for a real monster fight somewhere in this story's climax, and the series as a whole seems to be slowly becoming about how all the other princes need to turn against Mammon and his destructive ways. But for more theories on that, hit the subscribe button, because we have a lot more videos coming, including one specifically about Asmodeus versus Mammon that you won't want to miss. And don't forget to check out my Magical Girl Garnet Heart show. See you guys there.